studied last night. No phone, no TV, nothing. My mama thought I was sick. What was Fillmore's first name, Milton or Millard? Millard, that's right. Oh, but he won't ask that anyway.
How come you're so sure?
Mr. Dixon never asks anything I know. You ready? What you have to worry about, you always pass.
Yeah, I passed. Hey, what's in the basket? Big lunch? Oh, she's gorgeous. Oh, can I hold her?
Not so loud. I'm trying to hide her and you coming on like my grandmother. Come on.
Is that your sister?
Yeah, the babysitter didn't show up this morning. Terrific test, Mr. Dixon.
I'm glad you like it. What's in there?
What's in where?
Pam.
Mr. Dixon, it's her sister.
Dorothea.
She just volunteered to school.
Okay, back to work. I want to talk to you. We'll take Dorothea with us. I want her to hear this, too. Take over, Miss Johnson.
All right. Everybody back to work.
You see, my mother has a job, and the babysitter didn't show up this morning, so I didn't want to miss the exam. I knew you wouldn't mind. Dottie's such a good baby. She doesn't cry anything. I couldn't miss the exam.
Which reminds me.
Please, Mr. Dixon.
Go back in. I'll take Dorothea down to Miss McIntyre's.
Oh, thank you.
I'll be back.
I'll take care of everything.
Mr. Dixon, if she fusses, just sing to her a little bit. I gotta have a man. That's her favorite.
I'll remember that. Good morning.
Good morning.
Do I get 3 guesses?
300. You won't even come close.
You want to tell me about it?
Sarah,
What?
there's not much time left.
Time for what?
You haven't written one word. Is something wrong?
Mm-mm.
There is something wrong. Look, you can tell me. Come on. Sarah, you've got to take the exam.
Why?
Why? Because it's part of the... Oh, don't misunderstand me. I don't fully approve of the grade system, but it's the... Well, it's what you've got to... Well, you know.
No, I don't know. No, I really don't.
Sarah, what is it? I mean, you've never been in any trouble before.
I'm sorry.
No, but this week, no, you've been different. I mean, inattentive. Like, well, even a bit surly. I heard you had to go to Mr. Kaufman's office.
Twice.
Sarah, this isn't you.
Are you sure?
You're a good, average student.
Yeah, that's me, all right. Average.
take the test. For me. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. You don't want to get an F, do you?
Last exam I got an A. Don't ask me how, just an accident. So if I get an F this time, I'll average out to a C. And that's what I am, a C student. Average.
But Sarah, you've got to. Don't make me do this.
Do what?
Send you to Mr. Kaufman's office.
Okay. You're nice. I won't make you do it. I'll just go. You do that great.
Why, thank you. I've been doing it for quite a few years.
I can see that.
Sarah, come in, please. See? What's new?
I guess you could say I walked out on an exam.
Oh, Sarah, this is, what, the third time this week you've been to see me?
Right.
And in a year and a half you've been at Walt Whitman before. You never...
I wasn't sent here once.
Right.
I guess I wanted to know you better.
What is that, sarcasm? Because it's not smart to be sarcastic, Sarah. Then I'll have to act like a principal and you're going to lose. And why can't we just be nice to each other? So you're in a little trouble. Okay, everybody's got a right to get in a little trouble once in a while. Just so we'll notice him or her. You see how understanding I can be? You don't see. All right. Time to be a principal. You walked out on an exam. Why?
I wasn't interested.
Why weren't you interested?
Because it doesn't mean anything. Not to me.
Well, not now, but someday it might.
Can you promise me that one day that history test will have any effect on my life?
Come on, Sarah, of course not. You know that, but you're not going to help yourself by walking out on it.
In other words, if I really hang in there and take my tests and pass my courses, then someday, with the right breaks, I can be her.
You're going to be who?
That machine lady out there. The human crank.
That's not funny. Kaufman. Who, Liz? Oh, you've got problems. What, now? All right. I'll be right over. We can compare problems. Take a walk. Oh, will you wait here, please? Your problem is better than mine.
Mr. Kaufman.
I know, it's my fault. I was the one that said, enjoy your vacation. Have a summer you'll always remember. Now look.
Mr. Kaufman, that's Pam Huntley's sister. Her mother works and the babysitter didn't show up, so she brought the baby to school.
Of course.
She had to. She had a big exam.
We have a rule at Walt Whitman. You've got to be at least 13. Tell you what, I will take your problem, and I want you to talk to my problem out there.
What are you doing here? Why aren't you in class?
Miss Olson has a little problem. I want Liz to talk to her.
Oh,
Where are you taking the baby?
To home economics, because it's a girl. If it were a boy, I'd take him to manual training. 3 times this week in my office. The record is 4, established in 1951. I don't want her to tie it.
Sarah, come in.
Oh, by the way, tell Pam, what's her name, after the exam she's to take the baby home. She won't be charged for the absence. Eggs.
one of the most important issues in this country has been states' rights. We've heard a lot about it lately. But what historical figure comes to mind in connection with states' rights? Jason.
John C. Calhoun.
How'd you know that?
Well, it was in last night's assignment.
Can anybody tell me something about John C. Calhoun? Sarah.
John C. who?
Didn't you read last night's assignment? Anybody.
Mr. Dixon, can I say something?
Sure.
What's the difference? I mean, what's he to me? John C.
Calhoun.
Calhoun. What's he got to do with my life? Tell me.
Okay, I'll try.
Excuse me, Mr. Dixon, but he's just something you teach. I mean, like remember Mrs. Wharton used to teach history? She taught my father. She probably taught him all about John C. Calhoun. Well, how did it help him? He's a clerk in the post office. And nobody sends letters to John C. Calhoun.
You mean it wasn't useful?
Right. Like I took Latin. You know what the homework was once? We had to make a list of 500 words beginning with a hard C. Why? Well, what for? I'm going to be out of here soon anyway, get a job for a while, and then get married and have kids. A lot of good hard C's are going to do me.
In other words, if it doesn't help you become a wife and a mother, you're not interested, right?
Right.
What if you don't become a wife and a mother?
Oh, come on, Mr.
Okay, I take it back. You will become a wife and a mother. And John C. Calhoun won't help you cook a meal. I guess to most of you, or many of you, a lot of what we're doing here seems to be useless. But education is not useless. I wouldn't be here if I thought it was. Okay, Sarah?
Sure, Mr. Dixon.
I'd like to stay and help you work this out, but I've got to monitor the north stairwell.
The more I think about Sarah, the more I wish I had a stairwell to monitor. Hey.
Hello, Sarah.
Mr. Dixon, Miss McIntyre.
Have a seat.
Oh, no, thank you. Mr. Dixon, I'm sorry about what happened in class today.
No need to be sorry. You had something to say, so you said it. Probably did me as much good as it did you.
Well, I don't know, but I had to say it. I guess I was hoping you'd understand.
I think I do. Would you like to take the test over again? I'd be glad to.
No, you don't understand. You don't.
Sarah, what is it that we don't understand?
I was sorry about what happened because I didn't want you to think I was being wise. But I meant what I said. History doesn't mean anything to me. Remember, Miss McIntyre, when we talked about what classes I had to take this year? Had to take. You kept saying I had to take this, I had to take that. And I kept thinking, why? Why couldn't I take something I wanted to take? Something for me.
But Sarah, there's a whole list of elective courses.
Something for me. Me. You don't know what I'm talking about.
I have a terrible feeling I've been that girl's counselor for a year and a half, and I don't even know her.
You're Lana's mother, of course. Oh, no, don't tell her to do that. No, that was because... Madam, this is not a nursery here, much as I'd love to oblige. All right. Be out the rest of the week. Guess what? All right, now, look. Everybody, take your brothers and sisters home, please. If you have to babysit, please do it there.
Oh, Mr. Kaufman, I've never been marked absent from school.
Your fantastic record will remain unblemished, at least for today. Now, please, go home, and tell your parents no more of this. Any more back here? All right.
Well, you've always said school should play an important role in the community.
Please, don't quote me.
And that we should be more concerned about family difficulties.
Pete, you know, I hate to be quoted.
And the student's work in school has its source in the home.
Oh, boy. You have to quote me, don't you?
Actually, I came in here because I have a problem. Sarah Olson.
Sarah Olson? That's the only problem I haven't had all day.
I don't think you will either. She's given up on us.
Given up on us? Then what are we supposed to do for her? I've got students with big problems, F students.
And what about the C students like Sarah? The ones that get lost in the shuffle. Don't we have any time for them?
Pete, you know the statistics. 2/3 of our students are C students, so-called average students. No, the fact is, I don't have time for every one of them.
Well, that's their problem. Nobody has any time for them. That's Sarah's problem. She's tired of being average. She wants more.
Well, fine. I'm all for that. Let's give her more. Tell me what it is. I'll see to it personally.
I'm not sure. That's my problem.
Well, what can I tell you? Well, you go home and think about your problem. I'll go home and think about my problem, maybe tomorrow. Or, unless you'd like to switch problems, of course.
No, thank you. I'll keep mine.
Didn't you sleep well last night?
Oh, pretty well for about 40 minutes. How about you?
Slept like a log. All that talk about Sarah, and I sleep like a log.
Good morning. I've got something to show you.
What?
What?
Come on, I'll show you.
What is it?
I'll tell you when you get upstairs. Take a look.
I see. It's a room. It's an empty room.
I beg your pardon.
Almost empty?
Thank you. Did you tell him yet?
Not a thing.
Good. Ladies, picture, if you will, an array of baby cribs, row on row, right here. And in those cribs, an array of ecstatic infants. Now, why, you ask, are they so ecstatic?
Why are they so ecstatic, Mr. Kaufman?
Wonderful question, Miss Johnson. Because this is theirs. All theirs.
And over here, table, paints, easels, and a sandbox.
They can draw, finger paint. They still do that, don't they? I mean, finger painting hasn't become square, has it?
Do you mean you're turning this into a nursery?
Yes. The parents need it, the students need it. I'm calling it Operation Sandpile. Operation Sandpile? You think it's too Madison Avenue?
I think it's groovy.
Oh, yes? Would you go so far as to say it's out of sight? Pete, tell them what it's going to be like.
Well, it's strictly a volunteer program. The kids who are willing to give up their free periods can work here, babysitting. Also after school. We'll be completely outfitted. Meals, everything.
Hey, who's paying for all this?
We have enough trouble trying to get erasers.
Don't worry about it. I've already spoken to the school board. They're considering it now. They don't dare turn me down.
Did you threaten to resign?
Worse, I threaten not to resign.
I think it's perfect. I think it's a great idea.
Now comes your part.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm going to need some people to staff it, and I want you to do the recruiting for me.
I've got a candidate for you.
Hi, Sarah. What do you think?
It's okay. What's it for?
It's Mr. Kaufman's idea. A nursery project for parents who can't find or afford babysitters.
It's a good idea.
Yes, it is. Surprised that a principal would think of something like this?
Sorta.
He calls it Operation Sandpile. Beginning to sound more like a principal, isn't he?
You wanted to see me?
Yeah. We're looking for girls to staff the nursery. I thought maybe you might like to volunteer.
Another elective?
No. As a matter of fact, you'd be doing it in your free periods and after school.
Oh, no thanks. I like my free periods. And when school's out, that's where I want to be. Out.
Sarah, you've been looking for something useful. Well, here it is. You want some training for being a mother? You can get it right here. You like babies. They'll be here, too.
Well, I'm not going to be a mother for a while.
Then you're going to have to get a job, right? Now, what are you going to do? Be a file clerk? A package wrapper?
I was thinking of becoming a mimeograph operator.
You could be a nursery aide. That's right. We're going to have a program for it right here. The certificate will get you a job in any nursery in town. But there's only...
Well, I'll have to get my grades up, right?
That's right. For this, average isn't good enough.
Thanks, but I don't think so. Not that you didn't do a good selling job.
Now listen. All week long, you've been doing everything you could do to get us to pay attention to you. All right, we're paying attention to you because you hit us with a pretty serious problem.
Look, Miss McIntyre, I don't want to fight.
Well, I do. Because we came up with an answer. But it's no good, is it, Sarah? It's a lot easier to ignore it than to try something you might really have to work at.
Okay. If you feel this strongly about it, I'll try it.
Wrong reason. Don't do it for me. Do it for yourself.
He really did a nice job of decorating, didn't he?
Yeah, look at these pretty curtains somebody made.
Not just somebody. Guess who?
Who?
Not Sarah.
No, me. Oh.
You busy?
Come in. Listen to this. Letter from a parent. Dear Mr. Kaufman, so far it's nice, right? I just want to tell you that Operation Sandpile is the best thing that Whitman High has done in years.
Oh, that's so nice.
Wrong. You've just made a very common mistake. You've been seduced by the opening paragraph of a letter from a parent. They save the zingers for the end. Wait a minute. Inspired methods, go to the community. Oh, here we are. Have you ever considered the value in having your students care for animals during school hours?
What?
Oh, this gets better. Listen. Have you ever considered the plight of the pussycat with a working mother?
Hey, that's a whole new program for you. You can call it, Operation Sandbox.
Oh. Hello. Delivery's down the hall at the nursery.
Pam's mother sent this.
Pam's mother, I thought she already gave.
She wanted to say thank you.
Huh? Oh. This is enough to thank an army with.
Oh, I got first dibs on a potato salad.
He's usually in by this time.
I know. What do you think he'll say?
I don't know. I can't wait to see those fellas.
Oh, yeah, wow.
There he is.
Good morning, Charlie, Abby.
Can I talk to you, Mr. Can I talk to you, Mr. Dixon, in private?
Could I talk to you, Miss McIntyre, alone?
Well, I have to get my mail first. Just be a minute.
Sure, come on.
Oh, Pete. Did you lock your car this morning?
Yes, I did. Why?
Oscar Walsh's car was just stolen. He parked it in the teacher's parking lot 8 o'clock this morning. Now it's gone.
Of all the people who get their cars stolen, security guard.
Poor guy. And with a wife like he's got. You should hear that woman holler. She's got a voice that shatters windows for blocks. Look, you didn't notice anybody fooling around when you parked yours this morning, did you?
No, I didn't.
Well, wish they'd taken mine. See you at lunchtime.
Sorry I got hung up, Charlie. No, you were about to tell me.
Maybe we can find someplace. Well, it's personal.
Okay, come on.
But there was a battle, though, Richie.
At Breed's Hill, not Bunker Hill.
That's right.
Alice.
Oh, excuse me, just 1 minute, Richie.
Alice.
You know, Richie found out there wasn't a battle of Bunker Hill. Now, I didn't know that till I was in college. Do you think television's responsible?
I doubt it. If the bell should ring before I get back, will you get things started?
Oh, sure, I'd be glad to.
Thank you.
Sure. Now, about that battle, you know, I think it's wonderful that you've delved into this matter. Do you watch much television, Richie?
Well, we won't be disturbed out here. Know what's on your mind?
You're really a straight guy, Mr. Dixon. I mean it. You know what's happening. Like if a guy tells you something in private, it stays private, right?
Well, I don't break a confidence, if that's what you mean.
Well, I'm going to get married at the end of the semester, and I want you to be my best man. We're going to Tijuana.
Do you have your parents' permission?
No. No, we're just going to do it.
Charlie, I'm flattered that you want me for your best man. But I can't be anywhere near a student marriage unless you have your parents' consent.
Yeah, I didn't think you could, but I wanted to ask you anyway. Abby wants Miss McIntyre to be her maid of honor. We really dig you both.
Charlie, do you have to get married? I mean, is Abby pregnant?
No. I mean, that'd be a real drag to start being married that way. No, we just love each other. And when you love somebody, you get married. A lot of kids put down marriage, but it's what we want. It's what we're going to do. That's all. Oh, we're going to be late to class.
Abby, couldn't we take a little time to talk about this some more? Getting married is a bigger step than you think.
What do you mean?
Well, I think you should take time to get to know yourself and Charlie a little better.
Oh, if we know what we want, Miss McIntyre.
Maybe. Even if that's true, there are a lot of things surrounding a girl's marriage she remembers all her life. Parties, showers, her friends at the wedding. If you elope now, you won't have any of that.
But if we don't elope, then we can't get married. I'm sorry that you can't come along and be my maid of honor. Oh, I better go. I'm going to be late to gym.
But I tried to make her think about it a little more.
I'm going to have to take a pass on lunch. I've got to interview a math teacher. Oh, our car thief is all but caught.
I hope it's not one of our students.
No, it was Oscar's wife. She and her friend just came down and took the car. She had to go to a luncheon or a card party or something. Forgot to tell Oscar about it. So he's going to call the police and cancel the stolen car report right after school.
But if the police should spot the car, they'll pick her up unless he calls right away.
I think Oscar's well aware of that. See you.
Oh, I was just thinking about Charlie and Abby. Two young lovers. Romeo and Juliet. The beautiful, gentle romance. How do we follow it up?
You're the counsel and advisor, so counsel and advise.
Well, the first step is to consult with their parents, which we can't do because we gave our word we wouldn't.
I know. No, we gotta find out whether or not there's something pushing them into this marriage.
I think we should take them bowling with us tonight.
Do you really think bowling is gonna help these kids?
It'll give us a chance to find out why they feel this need to run away, why they want to grow up so fast.
It might be a good idea at that. If we go out and have some fun, maybe they'll relax and let us get close enough to help them.
We'll accomplish one other thing, too.
What's that?
Well, I've been trying to get you to take me bowling for about a month now.
And my grades are worse than my parents think they should be, which is always a guarantee of no dates during the week, no TV, and that means no TV, and no phone calls after 8 o'clock at night. Such a drag, you know?
I got a spare. You're up, Miss McIntyre.
How are your grades, Charlie?
Fine. I mean, I'm no genius or anything, but they're all right. Like, at the end of the semester, I'm gonna get a job and then go to school at night. So when I finish high school, I guess I'll go to City College.
Well, it's hard work holding down a job and going to night school.
Oh, I'm gonna help him study. He says more than he has now.
What have you got now? You getting a rough time at home?
Not really. When my dad gets home, he's beat. He's a nice guy, but he works much too hard. My mom, she cooks and washes and smiles a lot. They could phone it in, you know what I mean?
They don't care about you, is that it?
I don't know if they do or not. I don't know what they care about. I mean, they just keep doing what they're doing. Every day's the same.
You see, Charlie's parents never argue, and my parents make dumb rules. For me. Not for my sister. She never has to worry about any rules. She's such a phony. I mean, she plays him like a banjo or something. She either cries or she gives him the teeth number, you know? And they give her the moon or anything. I mean, a new pair of shoes. I hate that. I mean, she's really a rat.
No, I used to think my younger cousin was a rat. She lived with us when we were little. Now that I'm all grown up and I look back at it, I realize she really was a rat. Hey, what have we got here? A communications gap?
Sorry.
Guess that was rude, I'm sorry. I just had to ask Abby something. We knew you were straight with the kids at school before, but you're people. You're not old or anything.
Thanks, I think.
You see, we thought that you'd spend the whole evening trying to talk us out of getting married, but you didn't. And that's wild.
You wouldn't have listened.
That wouldn't stop most people. Anyhow, you have what Abby and me want to have.
You respect each other. We saw that right away.
You really dig each other. That's beautiful.
I mean, we can see how groovy just being can be. I hope you understand what we mean. Anyhow, thanks.
Anyhow, you're welcome.
Well, we've decided not to get married at the end of the semester.
It's probably a very wise decision, Charlie.
Sure. Why get married at the end of the semester? We're going to get married this weekend.
Mr. Dixon.
Oh, yes, Richie.
Yeah, well, some of us guys are giving Charlie a stag smoker tonight before he takes off to you-know-where. We'd like you to come.
I don't think I can make it.
Charlie really wants you there, Mr. Dixon. It's gonna be some party. My group is playing the gig. We're all dressing up. Scarves, turtlenecks.
Where's it gonna be?
Oh, we're taking over the taco place. We got it all arranged. 8 o'clock.
Okay, I'll be there.
Mr. Dixon, why don't you think of a little speech or something? See, I'll be the MC, and some of the other guys are gonna talk. But you don't have to be funny. I'll take care of the jokes.
And when I told Rhoda what you said about how a girl misses having parties and showers and things like that when she elopes, we decided to throw Abby a shower so she wouldn't miss any more than she has to.
That's fine, Rhoda.
It's at 8 o'clock.
Where?
Well, if any of us had it at our places, our parents would find out what it was for and call Abby's parents.
And that would be a complete wipeout. Well, where's it going to be then?
Well, we decided. Your place?
What could I say?
We haven't been able to say much from the very beginning.
If we'd argue too strongly, we would lose them. We're probably the only contact they have with anybody who can help.
And how much help have we been?
Not much.
Oh, we have managed to get them to move their wedding date up from the end of the semester to tomorrow.
Great. Look, we know this marriage is a mistake. Abby's running away from parental discipline, a sister she cannot stand, and bad grades.
And Charlie wants to split from a home where nobody cares about him.
What are we going to do? If we try to talk him out of it and fail...
They'll just shut us out and go get married.
Right. And if we don't try to talk him out of it...
They'll run off and get married anyway.
Right.
We got one more shot at it. But if we blow it, those kids are going to be in for a rough time.
Guess you're all wondering why I called this meeting. No, I want to say a few words about school. Take Walt Whitman. Please. No, but seriously, guys, we're all here because our friend Charlie is about to join the establishment.
Right.
This thing, Charlie, tomorrow morning you'll get to change Abby's name. And then in about a year from now, you'll get to change diapers. We don't want to worry you, Charlie. I know a happily married couple once. He worked days and she worked nights. They got a divorce. And what was so wild, she's moved out for 6 months before he ever knew she was mad.
Oh, Tijuana's beautiful this time of year. I mean, even if we get stuck in a traffic jam.
Oh, you won't, unless you go on a day when there's a bullseye.
It'd be great, huh? I mean, I've never been to Tijuana.
Oh, there's someone here.
For a thing like this. Happy shower's fine. Go in, put your coats in the bedroom, and tell me if you want root beer or lemonade.
Oh, good.
Where did you get it?
You look pretty, Miss.
Thanks.
Say, are you going to stay over or are you coming right back from Tijuana tomorrow night?
I don't know.
Well, right now, some of the other guys want to say some things, so we better start off with Bernie. Let's give Bernie a big hand, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bitch, I guess I've known Charlie longer than any of you guys. We started out in the first grade together. Hey, Charlie, remember that little blind chick in second grade? No more little blind chicks for you, Charlie.
Who needs them?
I do. You got any extras around?
Come on, open it up. No, with everything. Big thing.
Oh, thank you. It's all such a groove. Don't open my present.
Why not?
It's the same thing. Oh, well, perfect then. One for Abby and one for Charlie.
Right.
Good idea. Right. Thank you.
Oh, boy.
You like it? That's what it is.
It's the newest record. Oh, you don't already have it, do you?
No, and I've been crazy to get it.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Wow. Everybody picked out such cute presents. I hope I didn't bring a dumb one.
I'm sure you didn't. What did you get her?
Dusting powder.
She'll love it.
You really think so? Everybody likes dusting powder.
I couldn't tell my mother what I was baking the cake for because if I told her, she wouldn't have kittens. And she always wants to help, and so after I frosted it, she made some extra icing.
Oh, look at that. Blow out the candles and make a wish.
This is really beautiful. You guys give me this party. Thanks a lot. Like, I've been sitting here listening to you guys tell me about how things are going to change for me tomorrow after I'm married. But you guys are missing something. I mean, things are going to be changed for you, too. Today, you're just guys in high school, right? But tomorrow, after I'm married, that'll make you all bachelors, right?
That's okay, Charlie. We don't mind, right?
Right. Gonna miss you guys.
Well, don't say it like you're dying tomorrow, Charlie.
Right. Anyhow, we have one teacher with us tonight. Mr. Dixon. He's what most guys wish their teachers were, but never are. Right? Right! He never puts you down, he never dances around or anything. He's right there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, he's our kind of guy, and I'm glad he's here.
Peace, Mr. D.
You guys give a great party. I appreciate your inviting me. I also appreciate what you said, Charlie. I just hope you meant it.
I did.
Beautiful, because I want to cash in on that right now. You said that I don't dance, that I come right out and say what I think. Well, try this, Charlie. I think your getting married is wrong. It's a bad move. Because marriage is not something that you just jump into. It takes preparation. You played football, right? You didn't just walk out and do it. You prepared yourself. Now, what makes you think that married life is any easier than playing football? What kind of job can you get, Charlie? Bussing dishes or pumping gas pays about $1.50 an hour. Let's see, that's about $50 or $60 a week. That doesn't give you much, Charlie. Not with tacos costing 25 cents a piece, milk 30 cents a quart. But that's what you're buying for yourself. I know you guys are under a lot of pressure to get good grades and to compete for college and to get along at home. But that's no excuse to make a crazy jump from being a boy to an unprepared married man. I know you're getting married because you love Abby, and that's fine. But do this for yourself, Charlie. Picture in your mind the man you want to be. Then add yourself to that picture as you are now. Then ask yourself, if you're as much a man as you think you should be to get along in this rough world. If the answer is no, then ask yourself if you want Abby to be married to any less of a man than the best that you can be. Do that for yourself, Charlie.
Thanks for letting us have the party here, Miss McIntyre. Oh, don't mention it. Good night. Bye, Ab. Bye. Aren't they all beautiful?
What do you see there, Abby?
A lot of love.
Love and little girl things. Not wife things and not mother things. Little girl things.
They're just presents.
They suit you. Those girls are your friends. And even though they didn't know it, they were telling you exactly what I should have told you when you first said you were going to marry Charlie. It's too soon, Abby.
I didn't think you were going to lecture me.
No lecture. Just the truth. You're not pregnant now, but what about a month from now? The thing you hate most about home are the restrictions. You ever think about the restrictions you'd have with a baby?
Oh, well, Charlie can help.
What do you think Charlie is? He's supposed to help you, hold down a job, and go to school? Don't you think that's asking an awful lot?
Oh, then I'll take the pill.
There's more ahead than just having a baby. You think Charlie will go on to City College and get his degree?
I know he will. I'll get a job, too. He'll go to college.
And you'll have 2 years of high school. What are you two going to talk about?
Oh, things we care about.
The more things you know, the more things there'll be.
You want us to wait?
I want you to think. To look ahead as far as you can, that's all.
I love him.
love.
How are you?
Hey, come see what we got.
Did you reach him?
I don't know. Did you?
I don't know.
Hey, look at all this stuff. Who brought this, Cindy?
Yeah.
I want some cake?
Not on top of tacos.
Can we leave these things here, Miss McIntyre? I have to go home before we leave, and if my mother sees all this stuff, she'll get suspicious.
Oh, sure.
Listen, Ed, we better split. Thanks a lot, both of you.
Oh, you don't have to
My
hurry.
husband in
Oh, no, it's all right. We better go. Thanks again very much. I really want to thank you, Miss McIntyre.
Always my pleasure.
It's so fun.
And don't worry about your presents. I'll guard them.
Okay. I'll never forget it.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Goodbye.
Good night.
No,
Bye.
That Richie's group really swings.
Great. Well, what are we standing here for?
Nothing. Sure feels like it's gonna rain or something.
I hope it doesn't rain.
No weatherman says rain for sure tomorrow.
Well, maybe we ought to wait and get married next weekend when the sun's out.
No, Freddie's party is Saturday.
I almost forgot that.
Hey, look at us. Thunders. It's terrible.
It's a real drag.
I mean, we can get married anytime, right? Today or next week. But when we want to, not when the calendar says we will.
That's right. When we want to. But if we don't get married tomorrow, then what are we going to do with all the presents the kids gave us?
Well, that can't make us get married either, really.
You're right. If they want them back, then we'll just give them back.
Hey, that'll be wild at school Monday. We're not married.
I love you, Charlie.
I love you, Abby.
We should be making hit records. I mean, we're really great.
Hey, man, how'd it go? We meet Tijuana and all that.
Guess what, guys? Dave. We're not married.
I'm delighted to hear that.
Good morning, Mr. Kaufman.
Morning.
Pete, don't you have Charles Moreno in your homeroom?
Sure, why?
I just heard him announce in a loud, clear voice that he is not married. Now, my question is that supposed to be unusual in this student body? I mean, are all the rest married and he's not?
I'm sure it's just a joke.
Joke? Marriage is no joke, Pete. As you'll find out in due course.
because they didn't have a chance to learn, a chance to make something of themselves, were not ready to be free.
That's crazy. When you're born, you're ready to be free.
Well, most black people didn't want to be free. They felt much better off on the plantations.
Just listen at you running down the whole black race.
Well, that's not true.
What do you know about black people?
And what do you know about the Civil War?
You just some fat-mouthed chicken. I can dig it.
Hold it. We'll leave the name-calling to the politicians.
You are so emotionally hung up on some nutty ideology. Anything that's not doctrinaire.
Translate that.
What is that? All right, hold it. Now, Esther brought in a well-documented paper on what might have happened if we had been able to avoid the Civil War. And I think it's something to be considered. Maybe the country would have been better off.
She'd be better off. How about me?
Oh, you might have been better off, too. That's my whole point.
And that's the possibility we're discussing.
If she owned me outright, I'd be scraping the grease off her driveway right now.
Jason, slavery was not a viable institution. That's the whole point this study makes.
And just what does viable mean?
Workable.
You mean to say all those white folks were just gonna say, slave, you're not viable anymore, so now you're free.
Class dismissed.
You don't understand economic forces at all. Every
You
time
don't
I
know
try to
nothing
explain
about
it
black
to you,
people, and you don't know nothing about white.
a lot you know.
Thank you, a lot you don't know.
Welcome, Babbitt.
That's what you think.
That's what I know.
Greetings, history lovers, greetings. You sure run an emotional ship. I could hear you halfway down the hall.
Well, we had a little discussion.
What happened?
Well, you put Jason and Esther Abbott on together and get an explosion.
I have a little piece of good news. Would you care to sit down? How would you like to be Teacher of the Year in American history? You are one of 5 nominees.
Well, how did that happen?
Oh, I lied a little bit. I lied a lot. I did it pretty good, too.
Well, does it carry a raise in pay, or do I get afternoons off, or is it just one of those for the honor of the thing?
You get a certificate suitable for framing. Now, look, they're going to send a couple of auditors around to sit in your class on the 10th, okay?
Okay, what I do? How about something musical?
How about the life of Benedict Arnold in Song and Story? That'd be nice.
Marvelous. However, I'd appreciate it if the kids didn't find out about this.
I understand. I'm a modest man myself.
Yeah, but if I know my man, he's gonna play it very cool. It's not if you win or lose the award. It's how you teach the kids. In situations like these, he tends to be very stuffy.
He has to be pleased, doesn't he? I mean, best teacher in the whole state, even being nominated. Wow!
He's not gonna show any emotion. He'll take it in stride.
Manly, you watch how he plays this. Hi, Teach.
Liz, Alice, what's new?
Oh, same old pedestrian routine.
What's new in your life?
Oh, just humming along.
Mm-hmm. This week, the Pulitzer Prize. Next week, the Nobel Prize. And then, the Academy Award. Best teacher in an ongoing history class. Awards, honors, nominations, week in, week out. Same old routine.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's really wonderful. It is.
Well, aren't you excited, Pete?
Well, I don't want to get my hopes too high.
See? That's the ego. He wants to win, but he can't admit it. It's kind of a superstition.
Do you, Pete? Want to win?
Well, I wouldn't mind.
Oh, come on, Peter. You know you dig it.
What is with you two?
We just want you to admit you suffer the same hunger for honors, awards, and simple ego gratifications as the rest of us common folk.
All right. I confess. But I don't want the kids to know about it. We'll keep it quiet just among ourselves.
Were you a teacher, Mr. Stiles?
No, I'm basically what you call a history buff. My family has been in the society for over 150 years, and we just carry on.
I was a teacher a long time ago.
Oh, really? Does visiting the classrooms, talking to the nominees, make you itch to get back to teaching?
Oh, no, Mr. Kaufman. Believe me.
What will be the subject of your lecture, Mr. Dixon?
Well, it isn't actually a lecture. It's more of a open discussion.
Oh. Well, as long as it doesn't get out of hand.
You know, more of Mr. Dixon's students want to be teachers than any other class.
Oh, very impressive.
Well, what will be the subject of your discussion then, Mr. Dixon?
Well, this project is actually called Abraham Lincoln in Depth.
Lincoln? Well, that couldn't be better, Mr. Dixon. That couldn't be better at all. No, I've always felt that the more you get to know about Lincoln, the more you get to know about America. He epitomizes, for me, the American ethic. He's the marrow of our basic national philosophy. And we can all rally around him. No one can really object to Abraham Lincoln.
So, the whole story about Lincoln's tragic romance with Anne Rutledge is probably exaggerated and maybe not true at all.
What are you getting at, Esther?
A snow job.
Well, legends do seem to cling to and grow around great men. But is that necessarily bad? Willard?
No, I mean, who really cares?
Sometimes it's bad.
Esther?
The point I wanted to make is that Lincoln was a great man, and legend is not as interesting as the truth. Lincoln was a very human, compassionate person.
That's what she said.
I can prove everything I say. I've done my homework.
I done my homework too, lady. Mr. Lincoln was a cop-out artist, so don't sit there and tell me you done your homework with your fat mouth.
Okay, hold it. Let's not have any personal vendettas. Esther, you've made your point. Jason, if I read you right, in your opinion, Mr. Lincoln was a cop-out artist, right?
That's what I say.
Do you have any facts to support that?
Can anybody in here tell me how much Mr. Lincoln paid a white man to be in the Army?
$16 a month.
Cool, Bernie. Can you tell me how much Mr. Lincoln paid a black man to be in the Army?
$12 a month.
Oh, is that true?
It sure is.
$12 a month. They must have been patriotic.
I think that's right, Jason, up until the Emancipation Proclamation, and then all Northern soldiers were paid the same.
Yeah, Mr. Lincoln said he's gonna give a vote to the black soldier and the intelligent black man. You talk about cop-out.
Just trying to keep things cool, Jason.
He was trying to preserve the Union.
Then why did he say no ignorant people get to vote, black or white?
He didn't care nothing about slavery and he didn't care nothing about slaves.
Well, that's not true.
Lincoln hated slavery.
You've been brainwashed. Honest Abe didn't care nothing about black people.
You want to hear what he said in Horace Greeley's newspaper about freeing the slaves? My paramount object in this struggle is to save the Union and is not either to save or to destroy slavery. If I could save the Union without freeing any slaves, I would do it. And if I could save it by freeing some and leaving others alone, I would do that.
But that doesn't make him a racist, just because he was trying to find a political solution to a very complicated problem.
You just giving him an excuse, that's all. He just used the black man. Now this is what he said. What I do about slavery and the colored race, I do because I believe it helps save the Union. Maybe Abraham Lincoln wasn't what you call a racist. Maybe it's just a hustling honky politician using a black man any way he can.
That's right, Jace. Let's show him your true picture of Abraham Lincoln.
Mr. Dixon!
There's a man in my office in an apoplectic rage. Now, don't tell me nothing happened.
He just got up and ran out of the room.
You know what he wants to do, don't you? He wants to call the newspaper.
Well, he's sort of the hysterical type anyway.
Mm-hmm. Hysterical. And what about Victoria Langley? Is she hysterical, too? She tells me that one of your students called Abraham Lincoln a hustling, honky racist. Is that true?
No. I think the expression was a hustling honky politician.
Oh, well, that's much better, isn't it? That's practically a compliment. Mr. Stiles also says that you did nothing about that, right?
Well, it was an open discussion. And everybody's entitled to their own point of view, including Mr. Stiles.
What happened?
Nothing serious.
No, nothing serious. One of Pete's students called Abraham Lincoln dirty names while the judges were in the room. Mr. Stiles is about to choke.
Who was it, Jason?
Ignited by Esther Avedon.
I don't know what I'm going to tell the man.
Pete won't get the award?
Award? Mr. Stiles would like to send him to Siberia.
Well, you wouldn't want me to put muzzles on the kids, would you?
Oh, Pete, you know better than that. But just this once, couldn't you hold it down a little bit? I don't know what I'm going to tell the man. I really don't. Unless I tell him he's never going to go for that. You know that.
He is bugged. Do you mind telling us what happened? I mean, blow by blow?
Yes, I do mind.
All right, I only asked.
Oh, come on, I'll buy you a glass of milk. It cools the ulcer.
Well, are you coming?
No. I'm going to look at the exhibits.
Alice. I'll tell you about it later, okay?
Okay. Oh, hi, Esther.
Oh, hi, Miss Johnson.
Hey, listen, what happened with you and Jason? What did you two do?
Oh, nothing, really. Jason and I were in sort of a tense debate, and some senior citizen got caught in the crossfire. He just stormed out of here. You should have seen him. He was really funny.
You know, I don't think it's so funny. You know, Mr. Dixon's the one that you really shot down.
He was somebody important? That old type? Well, was he, Miss Johnson?
He was emotional.
He was from the Board of Education. And Mr. Dixon's going to get fired, right?
Esther, you're letting your imagination run away with you.
You're the one who told me I'd shot down Mr. Dixon.
It was just an expression.
But it was some sort of teacher evaluation system, wasn't it?
Esther, now please.
He was from a Midwestern university, and this was Mr. Dixon's last chance to get out of this crummy school. That's it.
Esther, I'm just not at liberty to discuss this with you.
Miss Johnson, if I did anything to Mr. Dixon, you have to tell me.
Well,
you know it won't go any further than me.
Well, I shouldn't. Now, this is in strict confidence, and it can't go any farther.
Of course not.
Those people were judging Pete for the Historical Society's Teacher of the Year Award.
Oh, my goodness.
All I can tell you is that Mr. Dixon's students have scored an average 9 points higher than the state average on college entrance exams. Now, he must be doing something right.
Well, I'm very impressed.
Well, I'm not. Not if he's turning out a lot of revolutionaries.
Wait a minute, Mr. Stiles. Now, whatever that term means, there is no evidence that Mr. Dixon...
You're against dissent.
Don't tell me I'm against dissent. I am not against dissent. Everybody, at least in this country, has a right to dissent. But
in the end, we must all agree that we are wrong and you are right.
you know, there is absolutely nothing wrong or bad or evil about respecting one's country.
Mr. Stiles, I don't think that's the issue here.
Everett is for progress without change.
Whose side are you on?
Now, there's the nub of the matter. Choose up sides.
Folks, Mr. Stiles, now tell me, what do you think that a teacher in Mr. Dixon's position should do? Seriously now. Just have the students memorize dates, names of presidents, state capitals, things like that?
Oh, I don't think Everett wants to go back to that. Do you?
I am not against discussion. Nobody can say I'm against discussion, but in all fairness, the teacher is the teacher, is he not? And in the end, a good teacher will set his pupils straight.
Then, in all fairness, may I ask, how do you know whether or not Mr. Dixon is a good teacher? You didn't wait till the end of his class to find out if he set his pupils straight.
He has you there, Everett.
Well, possibly I got a little carried away.
Of course.
Why don't you come back one more time?
You know, Mr. Dixon has impressive statistics.
I know you want to be fair.
Well, all right.
I don't know nothing about this black lady. Yeah, I know all about that.
Hey, Esther, keeper of the faith. Still got the keys to the establishment?
Are you still trying to be funny? What is that? I thought puberty was over at 15.
She's a hard lady, man.
I think she's upset.
Of course, she got out of homework.
Jason did her in.
Jason did Mr. Dixon in.
Huh?
Well, you know the visitors we had the other day? That senior citizen who got so insulted? Well, he and that lady were from the State Historical Society, and Mr. Dixon was one of 5 nominated for Teacher of the Year. They were checking him out.
Just when did that come down?
Well, I wormed it out of Miss Johnson.
Mr. Dixon really could have done that.
Well, are you sure about this?
You anarchist. You shot him down.
Shoot.
Next time, use your collective head. They may be back.
We're coming back?
Well, I heard they might. But if anything happens, I'll let you know.
Hey, you always make my day.
A bronze-length man, his suit of ancient black, a famous high-top hat, and plain-worn shawl makes him the quaint great figure that men love. The prairie lawyer, master of us all. That's from Vachel Lindsay's poem, Abraham Lincoln Walks at Midnight.
Well, thank you, Helen.
Well, that's a little better.
Mr. Lincoln was a man whose whole philosophy was influenced by his sense of humor. In 1864, when the election returns were coming in, Mr. Lincoln would always read from a book by his favorite humorist, Carlton V. Nasby. And this was Lincoln's way of relieving the strain on his mind. Anyhow, Lincoln had a great sense of humor.
Thank you, Richie. Very good research.
And just like someone said, freedom is indivisible. Real compassion is also indivisible. Lincoln's sympathy for the Union soldiers, for the defeated South, and the brave Confederate soldiers was all one with his compassion for the enslaved and victimized blacks.
Mr. Dixon, I don't like to interrupt, but I just wanted to say to that young lady that, well, I have never heard Mr. Lincoln's humanity summarized any better than that.
Thank you.
Well, we all seem to be together here. That's a little unusual. Are we all agreed then that Mr. Lincoln was the quaint, great figure that men loved? Jason, in past discussions, you had some pretty strong opinions about this.
Mr. Lincoln, he done his thing.
And you're happy with him?
Well, not all that happy.
We were talking the other day, it's just like you always say, Mr. Dixon. There is a difference between personal choices and political choices.
How does that apply here? Helen?
Like a border state, if Lincoln was going to keep Missouri, Kentucky, and Maryland on his side and preserve the Union then, well, you know.
He would have to take a weaker position.
A weaker position that he felt about slavery personally.
Now, Esther, you've complained about history making phony legends out of the past, dehumanizing our heroes. Are you satisfied that that's not what we're doing here today with Mr. Lincoln?
No, not completely.
Oh, Esther.
That woman got to be opposite, no matter what anybody say.
Well, that's not true.
You got to be opposite. I tell you something you don't want to hear. I tell you something about Lincoln you don't know. You try to blow my head off.
Tell me something I don't know about Mr. Lincoln.
Mr. Lincoln was not at all for black people.
Jason, do you have any facts to back that up? Any proof?
Everybody's very big on what Mr. Lincoln said. All right, here's what he said. I am not in favor of bringing about in any way the social and political equality of the white and black races. I am not in favor of making voters or jurors of Negroes, nor qualifying them to hold office.
Whoa, that's kind of a racist statement, isn't it, Mr. Dixon?
I would think so.
Mr. Dixon, I wonder if you would mind summarizing for the class at this point, letting them know exactly how you feel about our 16th president.
Well, I'm afraid that's not my method, Mr. Stiles. See, we're having an open discussion here. The students have done their research, they've formed their ideas, and now they're expressing them. And if I were to give my opinion, it might put a lid on all of that. No, I want them to exchange ideas and come to their own conclusions.
I see. Thank you, Mr. Dixon. Good day.
Jason, that's very interesting. When did Mr. Lincoln say that?
When he and Mr. Douglas were debating.
That was in the Charleston debate. Mr. Lincoln wasn't running for president then.
He said it.
But if he changed his mind, Jace.
You said that Lincoln was giving the vote to the black soldiers. You said so yourself.
Man changes, true.
People have to grow. My opinions have changed radically in the last 2 years.
Some of you feel that the good Lincoln did made him a great man. There are others here who feel that the bad was far too serious for him to be considered great. Well, if a man is great, his reputation should be able to stand up to that challenge. However, the most important thing is that you keep questioning, that you accept nothing at face value, examine everything with an open mind, and not be afraid of the truth.
Mr. Dixon, well, we know you lost that history teaching award. So, well, give it to him, Jace.
Here.
Open it.
Hey, that's great.
Just what you always wanted, right, Mr. Dixon?
As a matter of fact, it is.
Just a little prize.
For being the best history teacher we know.
Thank you.
We better get to our next class.
Right, yeah. Okay.
Bye.
See you later, Mr. Dixon.
I thought you were going to get him a bronze statue.
I decided it was
You
too square.
decided. Who are you? Man, we all put money into it. At least you could have gift wrapped it.
I'll gift wrap you if you don't cool it.
California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. Right on. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest.
Hey, Richie, that's a lot of racket for 8 a.m.
Oh, we got a permit, Harry.
Lay it on me.
It's for a demonstration in favor of the vote for 18-year-olds.
Fine. Better turn the volume down on that choral group, though. You're going to get some static.
Okay, Harry.
Are you in favor of the 18-year-olds getting a vote, Harry?
Convince me.
Vice Principal's office. Yes, ma'am. Yes, I hear them, too.
And what's so magical about 21-year-olds? 18-year-olds are citizens, too. They should be represented.
That's right. They think an 18-year-old boy is old enough to fight, but he's not old enough to vote.
Oh, good morning. Morning, Pete.
Just exercising our right to petition, Mr. D.
The school board has a rule about petitions on campus.
They have a city council permit to demonstrate legally.
Beautiful.
Would you sign our petition, Mr. Dixon? It's to send to our state senators asking them to support the voting bill for 18-year-olds.
You want to get the man in trouble, Pam? Mr. Casey's watching right out the window. We can't ask any teachers.
You can ask them all. We teachers aren't much good if we say something and then hide when the time comes to back it up. Thank you, Pam. See you later, Harry.
Yeah, later, Pete.
Now are you convinced, Harry?
Yes, I think I am.
Here, then you sign the paper. Dad, have you any idea what you're doing to the hard-nosed image of the fuzz, Harry?
Everything I can, Rich.
Uh-oh, here comes Mr. Casey.
Yeah, but we're legal.
Don't clutch up.
Give us the vote. Give us the vote.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. And what's this all about this morning?
They've got a permit. I've seen it.
Well, they're creating a disturbance.
No, they're not, Gil. They're in complete compliance with the law.
They are disturbing the neighborhood with all that squalling, Harry. I've had 10 phone calls already.
You better break it up. I've already told them to ease off the singing.
Why don't you just give them all medals and bus tickets and send them to Washington so they can run the country, Harry?
Gil, I can't stop a legal and licensed meeting that is really not causing...
You wouldn't even stop that mob of kids if they were hauling away the school brick by brick.
We have got to be reasonable, Gil.
I am reasonable. I am reasonable. I am the most reasonable vice principal I know.
Give us the vote. Give us the vote. Give us the vote. Give us the vote.
Yes, I'll make an official complaint and see that Mr. Kaufman gets it. Thank you.
That's the 11th complaint today about the Revolutionary Corral.
Those kids aren't revolutionaries, Gil.
How about that cop? Where are the teeth and the authority of the police when every kid in our school calls our cop Harry?
If we had more Harrys, we might not need as many teeth.
And that petition. Harry's behind that whole mess. He thinks he's one of them. Shows up at all the dances. Now, that could be a good thing, but what does he do?
He dances with the chaperones.
Yeah, and this thing he's got planned for the weekend. An outing? Now, how do we know what he means by that poster? Come to the sheriff's training ranch and rap with the fuzz.
Well, rap just means talk.
I don't live in a cave. But rap about what? And is there going to be a teacher there? No. Now, what's he going to say to those kids that he doesn't want us to hear?
I think what he means is that the kids won't open up if there's a teacher there.
He should keep you around as an interpreter. Oh, Pete, if anything happens out in that hallway and Harry comes running, there is not a teacher in this school could be sure whose side Harry would be on. But the odds are he'd be on the side of the kid.
You said the same thing about me.
There's nothing I can do about you.
What are you going to do about Harry?
I'm going to nominate him for chief of police of Bismarck, North Dakota.
Anybody ever call you a pig, Harry?
I'm afraid so.
Did it bug you?
Worse than that, it hurt. You see, I'm not a pig. Somebody was lumping me in with a stereotype that he had going for him.
That's because you wear the same uniform.
Exactly. And just like anybody else in this room, I want to be judged for myself.
Yeah, well, you're a cool man. But what about them other cats? Them dudes that did coming down in the neighborhood muscling cats. You know, the ones that put on the badge just for the club and the gun, man.
The department does its best to screen men who want to become officers, but some bad ones slip through.
Yeah, and they slipped down into my neighborhood, too. See this eye, man? Guess how that happened?
How?
Oh, I fell off my bike.
Harry, how come cops are always so uptight?
Fear, for one. You know, a lot of officers aren't much older than you kids in this class. He comes face to face with a bad situation, chances are he might be afraid. And fear makes anybody do something he wouldn't do if he were cool.
Well, when I see a cop, I'm the one that's scared, let me tell you.
That's right. So when both sides are afraid, anything can happen.
You know what's a drag, man?
Shoot.
When some cop who lives somewhere way on the other side of town tells me to beat it when I'm standing in front of my own house. You think that's right?
Well, I'd have to know the situation first, Jace. You know, 90% of a policeman's time is spent not in hassling people, but in keeping things around town running smoothly.
And the other 10% is bugging kids, right?
It might seem like that to you, Bernie, but to a lot of policemen, it's just the other way.
How's that?
Well, you know, blacks feel that they're discriminated against. Kids feel that they're discriminated against. Well, so do policemen.
Oh, you breaking my heart, man.
You know, there are a lot of cops who feel that they are looked down on by the public and the press, and they consider themselves an oppressed minority. And like other minorities, they get angry and hostile. And they feel that anything they do is okay because of the way they're being treated.
That's a mind blower. Just imagine a ghetto just for cops.
You know, we've got to learn to deal with each other as individuals, even people who happen to be wearing uniforms.
Well, I guess we just have to keep on talking, huh?
Right. And be straight with each other. Too many people are afraid to admit their mistakes. Now, you keep this good talk going, and who knows? Maybe we'll start finding a couple of answers one of these days.
Hold it. Everybody going on the outing with Harry, meet here after school to get organized. Got a little heavy there, huh, Harry?
Well, you can't duck the hot ones, Pete.
Got time for some coffee?
No, thanks. My break is over. I got to get back to the street. Thanks.
Again sometime?
You know guys like me can't resist an open door. Later, Pete.
Oh, I don't mind the fact that every cop is a sociologist these days. I think that's great. I just hate to see the passing of the cop with squeaky shoes that stole apples off the fruit stand. That was a big part of my childhood.
Well, progress has its price.
Yeah. I wish somebody'd tell my vice principal that. He thinks progress is subversive.
Yeah, just because Harry doesn't fit Gil's hard-nosed image of what a cop ought to be, Harry's automatically a bad cop.
I wish we could open Gil up. You know, he's not really a bad guy. If he could just accept the notion that a new idea is not a deadly germ.
And that's all she ever says is out of sight. How are you? Out of sight. Sorry, we're out of hamburgers. Out of sight. You know, I'm not sure she even knows how to speak English. Out of sight. Oh, Liz.
Hi.
Hi.
Ladies, we've got a problem. Maybe you can help us out. How are we ever going to make Gil Casey see anybody else's point of view?
One small atom bomb. Hey, no, how about role-playing? You know, get Gil to switch roles with the other guy, and he'll get to understand them.
Gil switch roles with Harry?
No, impossible. Once you got Gil into a policeman's uniform, you'd never get him out.
I'm not jiving you, Bernie. You've got to carry a whole mess of change in your pocket. Nickels, dimes, and pennies.
What for, Rich?
Don't you know anything about snakes and bats?
I don't know anything about snakes and bats, but I do know that no pocket full of change is going to do any good if they bite you.
Explain it to him, Rich. We don't want the whole weekend thing ruined by him getting bit on by no snakes.
Okay, look. You take the change. Okay, you jiggle the change in your pocket. Snakes and bats don't dig the sound of change jiggling. They go the other way.
You're not putting me on.
Works even better on mosquitoes, but not too many people know about it working on mosquitoes.
Oh, yeah?
Pete.
Oh, Harry, did you forget Forget what room the meeting's in?
No. Would you do me a favor, Pete?
If I can.
Well, I've been transferred out of this division, and I was wondering...
Why? Where?
Downtown, city jail.
Well, Harry, that's not your kind of work.
Well, normal rotation.
Normal rotation?
Yes, you know how it is, Pete. I mean, they promise you anything until you enlist, and then once you're in, you end up in the infantry.
That's too bad. There's no way you can fight it and get transferred back?
No, normal rotation, it gets us all, Pete. And, look, I was wondering if you'd, tell the kids that the weekend is off.
There's no way you can make it? You know, they're pretty hyped up about this.
Yeah, well, so am I, but, it is off, Pete. So you just, tell them I'm sorry, okay?
Harry, what's the real story?
Just, settle for normal rotation, Pete.
Okay.
See ya.
Hey, hold it a minute. I got something I want to tell you. Harry won't be here this afternoon.
He's sick?
No. The fact is that Harry's been transferred out of our district.
Boo, man. That figures. That really figures. Who shot him down, Casey?
I asked him why he was being transferred, and he said it was normal rotation.
Boo fuzz.
And this weekend trip's been called off. He probably has duty.
Boo fuzz. Knock off the booze job, Bernie. He couldn't been leaving for normal rotations, man. He wasn't here long enough.
That's what he said.
Well, he was lying, man, 'cause cops don't move but once a year, unless some fat cat pushes for it.
Harry was only here for 5 months.
Somebody shot him down, man.
Why didn't he tell us himself, Mr. Dixon?
Well, he didn't want to disappoint you. And he was too disappointed himself.
Well, he's told us about stuff that fell out before. Like the time we were all going to go to the picnic and he got called away to that riot.
He didn't tell us 'cause it was a lie. And Harry wouldn't lie to us, man.
That's right, Jason. It figures. We get a fuzz that grooved and the system just can't dig it.
Casey's the cat that got him. Man, I know it.
You don't know it, Jason. You just think it. Harry said he was transferred in normal rotation. That's the way it is.
The fat cats always win. Mark that down. Get fat or lose like Harry.
Yay. 3 cheers for the establishment.
Boo establishment.
Yeah, baby, boo.
Casey's gonna roast them alive.
What's going on here?
Our friend died, Mr. Dixon. Casey shot Harry down and we buried him.
I'm supposed to be Harry.
Sit down.
You people are just asking for trouble.
Harry didn't ask, and he got it anyhow.
We're gonna dump this corpse on Casey's desk.
His desk? I thought it was outside his door.
Sit down.
The smartest thing you can do is to break this up right now. Harry wouldn't want you in trouble because of him.
We think we should do this, Mr. D. It wasn't any fast thing. We thought about it.
Well, you've made your point. Now, how about letting me look into this for you?
Yeah, let Mr. Dixon have a go at it, okay?
Sounds okay to me.
Okay, Mr. Dixon, we're counting on you. Music, Richie, up to the main gate.
How should I know where your son is, Mr. Carter? He's not in school. Well, I know he should be. I've been called worse names than that, Mr. Carter, but it boils down to the fact that you are still his father. Fathers have tried to punch me in the mouth before, too, Mr. Carter. Also, a couple of mothers. Good day, sir. You'd think somebody would come up with a couple of new dirty names. Oh, you have a beef with me too, huh?
Maybe. Are you being bum-rapped by the kids, or are you responsible for Harry's being transferred?
I didn't demand it, but I suggested it.
You know, before Harry was assigned here, more than half the student body believed that policemen were the enemy. Harry changed that.
Excuse me. Casey. Yes, he has been transferred. Oh, thank you very much, Mrs. Garver. Well, I wouldn't go so far as to call him irresponsible, but I think that an officer should be more aware of the community. It would be a bigger help for all of us. Yes. Thank you very much. Well, that's one more vote for my position, Pete.
Mrs. Garver? She calls in and complains about the students if her poodle sneezes.
Oh, look at what that cop Harry gave us for a going-away present, Pete. A mock funeral, posters on the wall, and kids waltzing around the corridors wearing blue armbands.
Harry didn't do that, Gil. You did. What are you trying to do? Show the students that anything or anybody new is totally unacceptable to the system?
That is not the point. Harry is not a cop for this neighborhood, whether a group of kids think so or not.
Gil. Oh, hi. You know, this was really bad news, you're requesting Harry's transfer without my knowledge, especially when you knew that if you'd asked me, I'd never have allowed it.
I thought discipline was my job. Besides, I was only doing what the taxpayers were asking me to do.
We've been listening too much to the community and not enough to the kids.
I don't think that's what the community wants. Do you really think they would agree with you that Harry should have been bounced?
I sure do. You should have heard those phone calls. They were 10-1 against Harry.
Well, and I think we better find out if your little one-man Gallup poll is right. We'll ask the neighborhood. It's a community question. We'll ask the community what they think.
Open to the students?
Of course.
Well, what's the point in having the students there?
Gil, the point is that the students are involved, so they should be there.
If I know our student body, only a handful will show up. Harry is a cause as long as it's easy. But if they have to give up a date or a television show, they're going to drop Harry like a hot potato. Go ahead. Have your meetings. But I'll bet you they'll stay away by the thousands.
Do you think there's a chance of getting Harry reassigned here?
That's what the meeting's for. If there wasn't a chance, there wouldn't be a meeting.
You must be aware that vandalism has increased.
Mrs. Broder, I'm afraid I have to disagree with you. The police department records show that vandalism has actually decreased since Officer Collin has been assigned here. All right now. Speaking for those students who are interested in having the school try to get Officer Collin reassigned here is Richie Lang.
Neighbors of Walt Whitman High, parents, teachers, fellow students. Now, a lot of kids used to think all cops were pigs. Mean, hated kids. Beat up on people when there wasn't any need to.
Yeah, and then Harry showed up. Showed up at baseball games, at pep rallies and dances, but he never leaned on anybody. All he did was stop trouble when it happened.
Yeah, and see, the kids dug this, and he rapped with them. All he wanted to do is prove that cops could be, human. Yeah, human.
Now, speaking for the opposition, the boys' vice principal, Mr. Gil Casey.
I'm sure we all appreciate what Richie had to say. But what the students fail to realize is that a police officer is assigned to duty at a school, not to teach the students that the police are good and nice, but to be a deterrent to the bad types who would make trouble if he weren't there. Now, Harry is a friend of the students, but he is not what one could call the proper police image for this situation.
Harry thinks the law is for us, not against us. That's the kind of policeman he is. And that's the way we think all policemen should be. We want him back.
Right on. I think we have to look at the statistics. Our society is falling apart. Our streets are not safe. And the only answer to that is our police force. If the bad apples make trouble, they must know that the police will fall on them like a ton of bricks. Now, I am not trying to compare the students with criminals or anything like that. But what we need is a strong policeman. And Harry did not have the strength.
I think we know both sides. I move we take a vote.
No, I think we should have a little more discussion first.
Well, everything's been said.
Okay. Take a vote. All those in favor of having Officer Collin reassigned here, raise your hands.
We didn't lose by much. If more students had turned out, we would have won.
If there were more students, all they had to do was not to count the students' vote. The establishment makes the rules for themselves. They counted us because it was safe to count us.
Hi, kids. I heard about the meeting. Thanks for trying, troops.
They didn't even pay any attention to the police report about crime and vandalism going down since you got here. They wouldn't even listen. It was just a waste of time.
The important thing is that you tried, that you said what you think, and that they let you say it.
Whoopee, we said it and they didn't listen. They'll never listen.
But it was weird, you know?
We don't know nothing. We just kids in school. We don't know nothing.
Yeah, but it was really weird.
Bernie, what was weird?
Well, I had to practically drag my old man to come down here tonight. I mean, he wanted to watch the ball game on the tube, you dig?
Man, you singing everybody's song, Bernie. Why don't you just be cool? You're a drag.
You don't understand, Jace. My old man voted right along with us. I mean, coming down here tonight, he didn't want to have anything to do with any cop who was easy on kids. But when he voted right along with us.
Hey, so did my mother. She was right there.
Well, maybe the meeting wasn't such a waste of time after all.
The system only lost 2 votes. Whoopee.
Right, 2 votes. That means 2 more people are listening.
That don't help Harry.
Not today. But, Jace, we're gaining on him.
Yeah, but we'll be a long time catching up.
Not necessarily. Oh, sure, you lost 1 round. That doesn't mean you give up. You know, pretty soon you'll be voting. You'll be the community. You and the 2 people you picked up. So keep fighting. Maybe we'll start winning.
Morning, officer.
Good morning, officer. Welcome to Whitman High.
Hey, baby, what's happening? Listen, the other officer used to have coffee in the morning before school. So what you do is you go to the parking lot, take a right down the stairway with the red railing, and you're in.
Thank you.
It's okay. My name's Bernie. See you later.
Excuse me, officer. But us cats decided we gonna love you to death whether you dig it or not. Good morning, baby. Stay cool.
Morning.
Morning, officer.
Every time I get a second set of keys. How can they make a key that fits perfectly in the ignition and not in the door? Or if it fits in the door, then it doesn't fit in the ignition when they both take the same key?
Old world craftsmanship. Would you like me to try?
No, I would not like you to try.
Hi, Miss Dixon.
Hi, Mr. Dixon. Mr. Kaufman.
Good morning.
Can I help you with that?
Oh, no, it's just stuck. No big problem, thanks.
Let Glenn try it.
I do know how to do it, sir.
He does if he says he does.
Go.
There you go.
I wouldn't take it too hard.
Mr. Kaufman, he was at the top of his class in driver's ed.
Was he? Just remember one thing. No good deed goes unpunished. Thanks.
Oh, Glenn, are you still planning on going to Western Tech?
Sure am.
Tech? That's a pretty tough school to get into.
He'll make it.
Why Tech, Glenn? There are a lot of other good schools around.
For what I need, Western Tech's the best. Best staff, best equipment. A diploma from Tech really means something.
How are your grades?
Not bad. I have to do really great on the rest of my exams.
You will. Glenn's been studying like crazy. You know, we haven't been to a movie in like 3 weeks.
Come on, Miggy, let's go. I have to run to the library before homeroom. See ya.
Thanks again.
Bye-bye.
Randy, those clicks, please desist. Some fool who knows less about this subject than you might think they're code for true and false.
Glenn, number 19, Glenn. Would you shut up? I can't do this stuff with you.
All right, you two back there talking. Bertie Landis and Glenn Pierce, turn your papers in.
But, sir, I was just asking him how much time we had left, sir.
Automatic 0. Turn your papers in now.
I wasn't cheating, sir. That's true, sir.
You were breaking the rules. Pierce, I saw you talking to him. You don't deny that.
No, sir, but I...
It's an automatic 0. The rules are posted.
But he didn't do anything, sir. It was my fault.
Oh, sure. Pierce, did Bertie here ask you for the answer to a question?
I don't know what he said, sir. I just told him to keep quiet.
All I asked him was how much time we had left. Honest, sir.
Mr. Honest and Mr. True.
Look, Bertie, you cheat all the time. Oh, maybe you get caught twice. What do you care? You're way ahead.
You want me to fall on my sword? I said I was sorry.
Oh, what good does that do, Glenn? You're a crook and he has to pay.
Okay, Miggy.
You can't take a 0, Glenn. You just can't afford it.
Look, I told Bruckner it wasn't his fault. What do you want me to do?
Oh, big deal. What good does that do, Glenn?
Come on, Miggy.
Oh, what do
cool
you
it,
want me
huh?
to do, man? I mean, I said I was sorry.
You have to do something.
Look, just leave it alone, huh?
Somebody has to. But it's not fair. I mean, some people cheat all the time, and maybe they get caught once or twice. All right, they're beating the law of averages. But Glenn doesn't cheat.
You want me to talk to Mr. Bruckner? Yes. I'll tell him exactly what you've told me.
Well, could it be done off the record, confidentially?
Megan, I have a feeling that once Mr. Bruckner knows what you've told me, he'll want to discuss this with Glenn and Ferdy.
No. Then you can't do that. Glenn would much rather be caught dead than think on anybody. I mean, why would he be loyal to Ferdy?
That's what boys are made of.
Well, if he doesn't get into Western on account of this... Wow, you just don't know what that means.
Why don't you let me see what I can do in a underhanded, womanly kind of way?
Would you?
Don't get your hopes up. I'll do my best. Mr. Bruckner is one of those strict nonconformists we all so deeply admire.
That's SOS. T for true, F for false. You know, I think Randy Wilson and John Tremaine have taken the trouble to learn the Morse code.
Hello, Howie.
Hi.
Hi. What's happening, Dixon?
Oh, Howie was just explaining the educational side effects of higher mathematics.
Oh, Morse code. He thinks his students are sending and receiving.
He also thinks that we ought to offer the students a diploma in subversion.
That's not too far-fetched. You know what this is?
A fake fingernail.
Right. Now, look at the back. Notice the fine print.
Well, isn't that something?
Excellent detail.
Those are theorems for making triangles congruent. Very imaginative, right?
Howie, you're just going to have to make those girls check in their fingernails at the door before every exam.
Well, I don't want to go too far. We wouldn't want to discourage the students in one of their new creative activities.
You know, Howie, some kids in every class cheat, but you always seem to have more than your share.
That's true. No, we all do our best to prevent cheating, but you seem to get a kick out of it.
He likes to trap people.
Oh, come on. That's not the point.
What is the point? Them against us? Students against teachers? You know, I wouldn't be surprised if your cops and robbers approach doesn't encourage kids to cheat, just to see if they can get away with it.
Could be. It's a game.
It's not a game to me. When a kid cheats, he hurts himself and he hurts the kids around him. It's one of the biggest problems in this school and one of the hardest to solve.
But it is a game, and its name is Beat the System. The students who learn to beat it go out in the world, and they're the ones who succeed.
Ah, now I see. So Glenn Pierce failed to beat the system. Is that it?
Glenn Pierce? Yes, he did fail. He broke the rules and he got caught. Did he complain to you?
No. He didn't complain. He wouldn't.
What happened?
Howie gave Glenn Pierce a 0 on his quarterly exam for talking, not for cheating.
For breaking the rules.
As I understand it, he was telling someone to leave him alone.
Do you realize what this could do to his chances for college?
No, I don't, Pete, and I'm not obligated to.
You are rotten, Howie. I mean, really.
You could at least give him a makeup exam.
That would be the fair thing.
I will give him a makeup exam. But first I want something from him, an honest answer. I want to know what Ferdy Landis asked him.
You want him to think.
Is that what you're penalizing him for? For not thinking?
Why do you people suggest that I have an obligation to be fair and honest and decent while he doesn't? You want justice? Well, maybe the price is being a little unpopular. Face up to it. I have.
It's Mr. Bruckner's decision. Maybe it's arbitrary, but...
Why can't he give him a makeup?
He's not obliged to. Try talking to him, Glenn. There's a lot at stake if you want to get into Western.
I can't beg. I just can't, not him.
Who said beg? I suggested you talk.
Glenn, you've got to.
What's the point? He wants me to think on someone.
Well, maybe you ought to tell him about Ferdy.
No. We've been all through that.
Look, you've still got your in-semester test. Why don't you really try to hit that? Then maybe, instead of an average, he'll give you the final test grade for the course. I mean, Mr. Kaufman does not like to go over a teacher's head. But if you really have a case, I'll go to him.
You know how tough that final's gonna be? Bruckner's parting shot.
Well, we have a couple of weeks to study for it.
Thanks, Miss McIntyre.
Thank you. Bye.
Hey, Glenn.
Yeah. I wanted to talk to you.
Hey, what's up?
Well, you know, it's kind of a problem.
What, should I go?
If you got something to say, man, go ahead. Well, it's about Bruckner's final. We found a way to get a look at it. 5 of us put up $10 apiece.
Are you crazy?
What are you gonna do, Ferdy? Steal the exam? Me? Hey, no, man. Hey, Glenn, look, you know, if you're not interested in it, forget it. You know, I just thought because you took a 0 on account of me.
What are you trying to do now? Send him to San Quentin?
Hey, shh, will you cool it? Look, it's foolproof. But if you're not interested, Glenn, just...
You are terrible.
Hey, Megan, I mean, you're not even supposed to be part of this conversation, so don't come on so strong, huh? All right, Ferdy. Forget it. I was just trying to help you out. You know how tough Bruckner's finals are.
Come on, Glenn.
Well, you know, it's possible, Jace. I mean, I once knew this guy who wrote the entire Gettysburg Address down on a piece of dental floss, right? And when the teacher was just about to bust him, zap, he'd wipe it clean and destroy the evidence.
Hey, that's great.
Hey, man, you believe anything.
Well, you know what is true? You know what is true?
What?
Last year, remember Pat Lorna?
Yeah.
And her meat-brain friend Claudine?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, they had a set of signals like deaf and dumb. It was pretty far out. Okay, Lorna told me that she transmitted the entire IQ test, so now Claudine's going through life on Lorna's IQ.
That's beautiful.
I can dig on that. It looks like a caucus of revolutionaries in a very deep rap. That's student talk rap. How you doing, Mr.
How are you, Mr. Kaufman?
Hi, what's the subject?
Oh, honesty.
So laugh.
Honesty and how to get around it.
Sir, did you see that collage thing that Carlos Santana did for our class? I mean, from just a month's worth of newspapers and magazines, he collected 297 different examples of swindling, cheating, wheeling and dealing by big business, physicians, politicians, mayors, athletes.
I saw it. Did you happen to notice that there was not one instance of safecracking by a high school principal on there? Did you notice that?
Well, sure, you leave high school and that's the last time you see an honest person.
But you're the people that are going to change all that, right?
Oh, no, sir, not us. You don't want to see us overthrow the system.
No, sir, law and order. Jokes aside, Mr. Kaufman, don't you think that an honest man got less chance of success in this world than a dishonest one?
It's a difficult question to answer, Jason. It depends on what you mean by success.
Oh, Mr. Kaufman, if you were just a little crooked, you'd be superintendent of schools by now. Or mayor.
President even.
Tell me something. What's wrong with being a high school principal?
You know what I mean. The cats I know who break the law got the biggest, baddest, shiniest rides, and honest cats is walking around barefoot.
Well, if what you mean is that some people are cutting corners and making it, then unfortunately I have to agree with you. But if you're saying that an honest man cannot be successful, then that's simply not true.
But don't you admit that it's harder for an honest man to make it?
Look, nobody gets any guarantees in this world that what you want is going to come easy.
Well, why make it harder for yourself by being straight?
Because that way, you see, even if you fail, you begin to understand yourself. You know your strengths, you know your weaknesses. And believe me, nothing is more valuable when you face a challenge.
Mr. Kaufman.
I know that sounds very square, doesn't it? But you see, I have no interest in being hip. What I'm interested in is that you people should go out into the world as honest, decent citizens that care enough about the next guy not to want to cheat him. See, for me, the man that's successful is the man with self-respect. And the guy who's won the love and respect of a few friends. A cheater can never know that kind of success. Well, okay, end of sermon for today. It's a pleasure to do business with you. Peace.
So long, Mr. Kaufman. You know, he's not a bad old guy, Mr. Kaufman.
Living in a dream world.
Oh, what does he know? Well, I guess the only way to stay clean in this world is to be a teacher or revolutionary.
Yeah.
Hey, Glenn. How's the man coming? Slow. Sweat, man. It all goes down so hard. What's the matter with me? Am I dumb or something? I was never this bad in math.
You're just hung up on a few things. Bruckner's got you psyched.
Yeah, I've done exactly nothing else in a week. Nothing, just math. And I still can't get it.
We have time.
Sure.
a good thing you didn't come around any sooner. It only came through last night. But you still got 2 days before the exam.
Who gets to keep the $10?
Oh, not me. See, one of the custodians has a friend. Hey, listen, what do you care?
I sure feel lousy about this.
Why? You're just facing the facts.
Yeah, well, it still makes me feel lousy.
You don't look at it right. Suppose, for instance, you paid a tutor $40. Well, he'd spot you 150 questions you'd probably be asked. This way, you pay $10 for 50 questions you'll positively be asked. Glenn, it's just a more efficient way of reviewing the course.
What's wrong with him? Is he stoked up or something?
What?
Well, he's been winking and grinning at me all through study hall. Giving me peace signs and power signs.
Oh, he's all right.
Hey, remember what he said about being able to get a hold of Bruckner's final? Well, the kids say it's true.
Yeah, I know.
Well, is that possible? I mean, really? How could he do it? What's that?
Mr. Bruckner's final. I haven't opened it yet.
You got that from Ferdy?
I gave him $10.
How come?
Look, I didn't get a fair shake from Bruckner. That's the truth, isn't it?
Yes, it's true.
Okay. I'm not perfect. I'm sorry. I thought you knew.
I knew.
Well, what was I supposed to do? I'm no Superman. Should I have asked your permission?
No.
You know what this means.
You're getting into Western.
That's right.
Yes, I know. Call you later.
Maggie! Does it have to be such a big thing?
I don't know, Glenn. I honestly don't know.
Mr. Dixon? Mr. Dixon? I'd like to ask you something.
Go ahead.
It's kind of about cheating. Everybody cheats, don't they?
A lot of people cheat. Some a lot less than others. I'm certain some not at all.
Well, you saw that collage with all the white-collar crimes, didn't you?
I saw it.
And that was just a small percentage of the ones who got caught.
If you're saying there's too much crookedness, of course there is.
And what about in school? Like an exam. Don't most of the kids cheat?
I don't know. Some do, some don't. Why?
Because the ones that do have a big advantage over the ones that don't. I want to get into college. Is it so wrong to...
Cheat?
Yeah, cheat when everybody else is doing it. If nobody else cheated, I wouldn't mind. But it's not fair to me to be the only one who doesn't.
Glenn, if you're asking me to tell you that it's okay to cheat, I'm not going to do that.
I know. But can you tell me why I should be honest?
You're 18 years old. And if you can live easy with hustling and dishonesty, then there's nothing that I can say that's going to keep you straight.
It isn't right or wrong. It's just up to me. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying. Because I'm very big on right and wrong. And cheating on an exam is wrong, no matter how many other kids do it. So don't ask for my approval. However, I don't intend to go through a big song and dance to try to convince you that honesty is the best policy either. Or to try to sell you inner peace and satisfaction. You either accept those things or you don't. You want to join the honest community? Pay the price.
You know, Mr. Dixon, you're not telling me anything I don't already know.
Right.
All right, now, any talking is an automatic 0. And all of the ladies, please keep your fingernails on. You can all turn over your papers and begin. Grades will be posted at 3 o'clock.
This is really a good test of a person's ability, sir. Really good. Mickey, you got an 87.
Oh, what did you get?
79.
79.
It's not enough. Not for Western. Hey, none of that in the halls during school hours.
Well, what did you get?
Oh, I took a 93. I didn't want to be greedy.
That was very fair of you.
What'd you get, Glenn? 79. 79? Then you didn't use the exam? No. Well, why? I mean, can you explain that to me? I didn't feel like it. I just didn't feel like using the exam you sold me. You didn't feel like it? You mean you didn't feel like getting a 93 instead of a 79? If I could have gotten it on my own, sure. Well, what has that got to do with it? A 93 is a 93. Come on, tell me the real reason. You wouldn't understand, Freddie. Try me, I want to know. Okay, the reason I didn't cheat was because I wanted to feel good. Feel good? What is that supposed to mean? Come on, Maggie. Well, what do you mean by that?
Do you feel good?
I feel fine.
Will you come on? We're just going for coffee.
A place for everything.
Look, we'll only be gone 10 minutes.
Okay. Oh, did you hear about Glenn Pierce?
No, I didn't.
Oh, Maggie told me he didn't get into Western Tech.
Gee, that's too bad.
Yeah. But he's filling out all kinds of applications for other schools, and he feels sure he'll get into one of them.
He'll do all right.
Sure he will. Just like you. Suppose you cheated your way through high school. Right now, you'd be sharing your coffee break with a unshaven, mean prison guard instead of a beautiful, intelligent, warm-hearted lady who really digs you.
Isn't that something? And all this time, I thought honesty was just its own reward.
Mm-mm.